Hello, YouTube. Blessings to all of you, all of my people. The people that I communicate with on YouTube. I talk about narcissism. Narcissism is something that gave me a spiritual awakening. I was in a situation with a narcissist for over 12 years, and I think it was one of the most traumatic, most devastating emotional experiences that I've ever had. I mean, it was just pure, downright madness. And, I went through it. From 2004 to 2016. And then after 2016, I dealt with the aftermath. But, I put some video up through the years, and I like to introduce you to my wife, BB, and she's a blessing. She's a blessing. She's the total opposite of dealing with a narcissist. She's a genuine, true, loving woman. And I realize, and it doesn't hurt as much receiving a woman of her caliber, of her nature, of her character. But I just want to talk to some people, who are involved in a narcissist or who have dealt with a narcissist, and to help someone, get to the place where you can have a healthy relationship. I was love bombed by the narcissist, deceived and lied to. Like, this individually basically came into my life and, deceived me, played me. It got real ugly, down to, fighting for assets of my home and just completely destroying my life. And 2016, that's when I really started, like doing videos and doing research and, just studying my own situation, realizing like, hey man, you've been attacked by you've been hit by a narcissist. So it was through my experiences that I learned, how narcissists move, and let me tell you something, like, you can go to therapy, you can read a book, but it's nothing like having that real experience of going through it. And listen, her sitting next to me is just a testament of what I went through from narcissists, waking up, realizing what a real mate should look like, what real love looks like. So, I just want to give you some techniques and some things and some tools to equip you, because let me tell you something, the narcissist has probably broken you. They made you weak. They've broken you down. They put you in an emotional state. They put you in a place of depression. But listen, you got to wake up. And I'm going to give you one of the first tips. One of the first tips to kill a narcissist is to become aware. The first step is you got to be aware that you're dealing with a manipulator. You in yourself, you got to become aware. You got to know and recognize that, hey, this person is manipulating me. They're lying to me. They're using my emotional vulnerability. They're using the fact that I'm a loving person. They're using the fact that I'm an empathetic, giving person. And they're using me as a tool and an instrument. The first step is recognizing it, because sometimes we'll stay in denial. Sometimes we'll stay in a passive state where we're like, okay, I can't believe this. First step is recognize and wake up. You want to say something, baby?
I think that's important. I think once you recognize those things, that's the only way you can take action. That's the only way. But you have to look in the mirror and say, you know what? This is happening to me. Step out of yourself. Step out of the relationship and say, you know what? I am dealing with this. What am I going to do with it next?
And once you recognize it and you're real enough to say to yourself, like, hey, like, this is not what I thought it was. Yeah. I was a fool. Mm-hmm. It's fine. It's okay. It's okay. And listen, I love this cliche. If you fool me one time, shame on you. But if you keep on fooling me, shame on me. So you gotta be accountable for yourself. And so the next step to recognize if you want to kill a narcissist is you've got to understand the emotional aspect of how they're manipulating you. They're using emotional warfare and psychological warfare to manipulate you. So what you have to do is you have to kind of separate your emotions from them. Like, I use this technique on the narcissist, and it worked very well. Like, they call it the gray rock method, but I'm gonna take it a little bit deeper. like, I'm gonna give you a perspective of what you have to do. Like, the narcissist does things to get an emotional response. Like, they know certain things bother you. They know you're moved by certain things. So what they do is they do things because they're gauging a response from you. They want a response. So what you have to do is build up your emotional intelligence.
Yes.
You have to tell your emotions, like, I'm not gonna react. I'm not gonna respond until the energy comes correct, until the energy becomes genuine, open and transparent. I'm not gonna give myself emotionally, and I'm gonna separate the emotional part of me and cut off the emotional part of me from this person. Because if you continue to be emotional and vulnerable to them, they're going to run you amok. They're going to say things that get in your spirit. They're going to say things for your whole life you'll never forget. They're going to try to hurt you. But guess what? If I move my emotions from you, if I say in my mind that what you say to me, what you do to me right now doesn't matter because you're not in a good standing with me, you're not being honest with me, you're not loving on me, so you don't count and I don't care. And once you start bringing yourself into that place with a narcissist where your emotions are no longer there and you check out emotionally, let me tell you, 75% of their power over you is gone. What you got to say, baby?
I think it's harder for women because we were full of emotions, right? And so people know how. So what I'm learning is they strategize, right? They know how your heart moves and what type of strings to pull.
Manipulation.
Yeah. And so they manipulate you into this place where they start saying things that aren't true, but you believe it. So if you, again, step out of yourself and say, no, I'm not that, what you're saying. And you're really not angry with me. There's something else going on in your life. I have nothing to do with that. And you step back into the situation, then I believe that's when you can shut your emotions off and begin to ignore those things that they're saying. But it's hard. That's hard.
It's very hard. And I think we need to go deeper in that. Like, you gotta wake up.
You do.
Like, you just can't. And you know, I was guilty of this going through my process. It's like you're sitting there in disbelief. Like, okay, like, and when I realized who my narcissist really was, I was like, oh my God, I can't believe this. And I sat so long in disbelief, and I sat there, you know, just wanting things to change. Like, okay, this is a nightmare. And I would just pray to God. And it's like, it just, as I was praying to God, like, it got uglier. It got worse. Like, the police were called on me. You know, I was lied about. Like, I realized that the neighbors were against me. And like, I'm a typically good person. Like, I get along very well with people. You know, I've worked in government positions. You know, I've worked in child welfare. You know, I've done some positive things. But the narcissist had everybody turned against me, talking about me, and it hurt so bad.
I think God tries to get our attention. I think he exposes little things at certain times, and if we're missing it, he's nudging us, and then we're missing it again, then there's a bigger nudge, and then if you don't hear me, now I got to create this grandiose thing because I'm trying to show you you're in a relationship with the narcissist, or you, whatever it is that he's trying to show you. But we don't pay attention the first time, so it has to get bigger and bigger, and then you experience all of these things. When if you set aside some time in the beginning, or when it's happening, or when in the middle, let's say in the middle, because sometimes you don't see it in the beginning, but you start looking at those things in the middle, and you're like, something's not adding up. You know what I'm saying?
You see the red flags. The red flags are always there.
But we ignore them.
Why? Because our heart wants something. Our heart is set on something.
Yeah, you're already attached.
And I believe it's just so spiritual because our hearts want something. But like narcissists, they operate in darkness. You know, it's dark for you to use someone for something and already have a preset plan that when you get something, you're gonna leave, or that you're using love to get virtue from someone, to get assets from someone, to gain a position, to gain something. That is darkness. And narcissists are dark, evil, and demonic people. So, you know, you got to realize, like, it ain't gonna change. You know, they're not gonna change for the better. You know, and you gotta wake up.
Speaking of change, we are nurturers by nature. So in our mind, I'm speaking for women, we feel like, oh my God, he's just that way for now. I can mold him, I can change him, I can make him, I can, break him, and I can. But you can't.
just gets darker. It gets darker. And you know, the sad part is 9 times out of 10 they have another situation going on. You know, after they've exhausted what they can, or they've been recognized. Like there is a diabolical plan to dispose of you. You know, like they have phases. There's a cycle, and it's not personal. You're just a loving, good person with character, and you chose the wrong person, and you're human, and it happens. But the worst thing you could do is to stay in it. And I tried to stay in it, and let me tell you, people even warned me. And I tried to stay in it, and that's when the police were getting called on me. That's when the narcissist was exposed. But like my narcissists, when they were exposed, they started really coming after me. But again, you know, it wasn't until I woke up and I realized, like, hey, you know, certain things that I need to do to kill that narcissist, because all this simply is emotional and psychological warfare. And once you begin to realize that, like, that's what the G.I. Joe theory or theme used to say. It used to say, knowing is half the battle. Once you know who these jokers are, you don't want half the battle. Of course, you're gonna have aftermath and certain things you gotta deal with, but you just gotta know, you gotta recognize, and you know, keep it moving. Build up the strength, because it's only gonna get worse. So you got to walk away. You know, you gotta have a plan. You know, you gotta shift out of it. You know, you gotta rebuild yourself up. It took me about 4 years to build myself back up emotionally, to come back together. So again, you know, this is part 1 of this video. We gonna keep on pumping stuff at you, you know, because I am the narcissist killer. I'm the narcissist killer. Listen, I walked through it for years. And listen, my story is special because, like, I met my mate in church. You know what I'm saying? I met my mate in ministry. And let me tell you, they're everywhere. You just gotta be awoke. You gotta be alert. So stay tuned for part 2. We gonna dig in it. We gonna keep giving you nuggets. We gonna equip you. We gonna get your guns loaded to fight this stuff, because you better than that. You're gonna grow. You're gonna find real love. You're gonna surround yourself with people that really love you. You're gonna grow from that family hurt. You're gonna grow from that pain. You're gonna grow from that divorce. You know, it's gonna get better. But let's walk on this journey together. Until next time.